All right, so Route 33, and you will get to understand why this name. Okay, sorry, that's a bit fast. Stop here. Yes, no. Okay. So the BCLF is the Belgian Cycle Logistics Federation. It's a federation gathering cyclelogistics operators in Belgium. So their business is to do the last mile with cargo bikes. We have a vision. We want this activity to be at the heart of logistics, urban logistics, by 2030. So that's really a concrete goal. So we want it to be fundamental in the logistics in cities. Our mission is to represent it to all stakeholders. And then we have a number of values. I will not get too much into the detail I've presented in a previous session. We are innovative, we are regenerative, open, ambitious, and human-centric. Today, I think it's 14, right? 14 members. These are all the companies that are part of the Cycle Logistics Federation currently. It has been growing in the recent months. There are companies of all sizes, very small, medium, and quite large. You can see that we have the Belgian Post, which is the largest company definitely in this overview. And so essentially we have companies where the only activity is using cargo bike for making deliveries, but there are also, so obviously bpost does not do only with cargo bike, they have also traditional means. The same for Urbis. They also combine with other ways as well. So our mission is to grow this, of course. We want to be a representative of the sector, so we continuously work to attract other big actors, which are today moving to cycle logistics. Important when we start is to define what are we speaking about. What is cycle logistics? So cycle logistics, in our definition, is the professional service of transport of goods and services by using cycles. So we don't want to limit to cargo bike by cycle. It can be different shape of cycle, depends on the needs to transport the goods and services. Concretely, cycle logistics is more than being on a bike. Cycle logistics is about storage and handling of goods. So typically, cycle logistics operators have a hub where they get the goods from outside the city, and they have their hub in the city. They need to organize the deliveries in their hub. They get on the bike. Of course, there is a dispatcher that optimizes the routes, because typically this guy will not serve only one customer. He will combine different deliveries of different customers on an optimal route. So we need a dispatcher. Important is the delivery at the end. So we insist on that. We are human-centric. We want a human and not a robot to deliver with a smile to the customer. And finally, cycle logistics is also taking care of the material. So every cycle logistics operator maintains frequently his bikes. Unfortunately, today, bicycle needs much more maintenance than vans. I think that's something in the sector that we need to improve. So you need to have this support within those companies. Why using cycle logistics? Basically, there are three very simple reasons. The very first is because cycle logistics is very effective in urban area. And we can even say that it's more efficient than traditional way by van. The reason is that cycles are not impacted by the traffic, by the congestion, but also because they can get to any place very easily. They don't have a parking problem. They don't need to look for a place to park. They can really get to the spot in front of the delivery. And they can also get through very narrow streets in the city centers. And we are from Belgium. We can tell you in Brussels, they did put a very nice new mobility plan that makes life of van drivers much more complicated, but not for cycle logistics. They will be more efficient. So typically cycle logistics will go faster and will make more deliveries per hour than a traditional van. The second good reason to use Cyclelogistics is because it's sustainable on three aspects. From, of course, environmental level, you can imagine. It doesn't create pollution, noise, fine particles, etc. From an economy standpoint, it's sustainable. It creates local jobs, quality jobs. It does not create congestion, which is a big cost for the society. It creates also more local business to develop and to deliver in the city. And finally, the social sustainability, because we focus on the importance of humans, of the people, of the couriers, and their role in the company. And we offer them, the sector create new possibility, new sector, basically for jobs, because it's very human, how to say, to replace a van, you need more than one person on a cargo bike. So you need people to do this. So there is a social aspect there. And finally, because Cyclelogistics is the best way to do last mile delivery, and we need to have that synergy with the sector of transport. So we don't oppose ourselves to the sector of transport, but we see our synergy and our complementarity. So this is the reason why Cyclelogistics is needed. The whole chain, Cyclelogistics needs to be included in the whole chain of logistics, basically for the last mile. Good. So now we get to why Route 33, because studies have shown that in urban context, 33% of goods and services can be delivered by cargo bikes with cycles. This is an average, and it is based on the capability of cargo bikes, means what a cargo bike can transport, up to 200 kilos, but also based on the distance that it can do. So it's based on like 7 kilometers of radius, let's say that in the scope of the cargo bike. And so this is quite significant. 1/3 of every delivery in cities can be done in this way. So the potential is huge. And today we estimate in Belgium that we are even not at 1%. So the potential to grow is very significant. About who are the cycle logistics actors today? Well, we try to explain that by differentiating between, on the left hand here, all the transport of goods or the transport of services. What is goods? You can imagine, right? Anything. It can be anything. A pallet, flowers, medicines, parcels, anything you can imagine. Service delivery is in the domain of like the plumbers, the electrician, the repairman. We see that more and more, that instead of using a car or a van, they will be able to transport what they need to exercise their profession with a cargo bike. Now, if we look further, in the goods delivery, we have the company who are transporter for third parties. So their business is really transport, and they get orders from other companies to do this activity, or the transporter that do their own business with cargo bikes. So in other words, here you will have a company who decide to deliver their own product with a cargo bike. So they don't ask a specialized company to do that for them. They do that themselves. Of course, the service delivery is also in this area. It's for their own business, right? And yeah, so I will not go too much into the detail, but I think that's what we want you to present. You see the average of 33% is here, but basically if you zoom in a little bit here, you will see that the potential of service delivery is much bigger, is 50%. So big potential here. Goods delivery is 25. Based on the numbers, volume of those two together, that makes the 33. Question? Yes, I mentioned it. It's like the plumber, the electrician. So a person who has his own business, the one cleaning the windows, for instance. So we cross that more and more. Instead of being with a van, they use a cargo bike to do their services. Yeah. Okay. I'm handing over to Amaury, my colleague.
Thank you, Philippe. So this year at BCLF, we had the chance to actually conduct the first study around the sector, to collect data, to gather knowledge, and to actually tell to the broader public, to politicians, to consumers, what is cyclelogistics, and to really give a size to the sector. It's really important. And therefore, we only focused this year on the transporter for third parties. So the one on the left you could see, because we had access to those data. And very important methodology, we gathered those information with all the operators. We didn't do the surveys, etc., only behind our computers, but we really went on the field. We met all the couriers, we constructed workshops, and then in the end, we make a big event to announce this report. Here in Belgium, not here in Belgium, but above in Belgium, we have like 23, as we call, cyclelogistics operator. Those are operators doing more than 80% of their deliveries by bike. So it's already a great amount of actors, and we have 7 what we call mixed carriers. Those are companies that historically use like vans or trucks to make last mile delivery, but they see the potential of using cargo bikes, and so they're handing their operation over to bikes. I'll conclude just with that slide. I will not enter into the detail, but 10 months ago, when we started at the BCLF, people were always asking us, okay, but what is the solution? What are your recommendations? What can you put in place to actually leverage the potential of cargo bikes? That is something we ask to our operators, to the market, and that we build it together into our cycle logistics wheel. We identified like 7 different categories where we can work on. So the cultural, economic, infrastructure, the politics, human resources, the material resources, and other resources. And in each of those categories, we have several recommendations that we now actually put in place for the sector. Last but not least, it's important to also say that cyclelogistics will not reach its potential with one key recommendation, with one key enabler. It's really a whole bunch of recommendations that will be put forward, that will be put in place, and we will create the momentum for the sector for developing. And that's also a call for all the stakeholders. It's not only the politics, it's not only the operators, it's not only the consumers, but our role here at BCLF is to gather all the people together to put the favorable conditions for the sector. So that was a little wrap-up of our barometer, and you can also find it on our website if you want more information. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, and good luck with this journey. Yeah, so anyone has a question? Maybe we have time for 1, 2 questions. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Klaus Nordal. I'm from Larry vs. Harry. I just want to say thank you for your work. This is amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you for your work also. They just made a very recent study with one of our members, Urbike. I think they will talk about it later, but Philippe talked about the efficiency of cargo bikes, and it's something that is really hard to prove. And those guys with one of our members in Brussels managed to actually prove scientifically and with data from the operational data that running with a cargo bike and with a cyclelogistic operator in dense urban areas is more efficient than vans. So really, thank you to also do those cities.